Right. We are recording to the cloud. My name is Angela Mills, and I work for the town manager here in the town of Amherst, Massachusetts. This is a meeting of the Cultural Council. It is being recorded and will be uploaded to the town of Amherst YouTube channel by our wonderful IT staffers. We are able to meet by Zoom due to some suspension of open meeting laws by Governor Healy's office. And at this time, I would like to recognize the chair, Julianne, and turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Angela. Thanks so much. Hello, everyone. We are waiting to assemble a quorum, but we can go ahead and start with our roll call. And we are recording now, Angela?
Correct. Yes, it's recording to the cloud.
Oh, there it is. I see it now okay, excellent.
Perfect.
Okay, Christy.
Here.
Thank you. Eleanor.
Here.
William. Bill, sorry.
Okay, here.
Great. And I'm here as well. And thanks for getting us started, Angela.
Julianne,
yeah.
can I ask quickly, just so I can, where are we? What are we, like, what number are we up to?
You're expecting me to know? Okay, no, just kidding.
That's...
We are at we skipped the powwow because Cody has to recuse himself from that discussion, and then so we need to go back to that one, but we were at number 70. The Pity Theater was where we were going to start today. And I thought
70. Hold on.
70.
What's it called? What's it called?
It's Pity Theater, PITI. Okay. And they are it's called Story Wizards.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
But we can't really proceed.
We're hanging. Yeah.
So let me, Evelyn, be here to begin.
How is everyone? This is like,
yeah.
It's like the news, it is a complicated world out there. It is I've got to stop reading the news. I'm exhausted from reading. I'm exhausted from life, and I'm exhausted from reading the news.
I canceled a few prominent news apps and opted for other news apps recently.
Exhausting.
Has that been helping, Julianne?
Really?
It's this probably the least civic minded thing I'm going to say here in this forum with it being recorded. But, you know, if the news gets bad enough, someone will come find you and tell you. It's true. Never worry. Like if you really have to know, they'll find you. So
that's true.
All right.
Are we waiting? We're hanging. We're waiting.
Yep.
Matt had a baby.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. Have you seen new baby?
No, I just saw it in social media, which is like, talk about the great sucking of time away from my
yeah. You know. Hello, Evelyn. Thanks for joining us for a bit. I'm hoping that Cody is going to make it as planned. I just messaged him. But let's go ahead and get started. Since we are all here, and I know you have to hop at 6:30, Evelyn, right?
I do. Yes. Thank you guys.
All right. Thanks. Okay. So who am I picking on for timekeeper? I'm going to pick on you again, Bill. And thank you so much for sending over the categorization that you sent. I haven't had a whole bunch of time to spend time with it today, but I think that's really going to help us to be able to add that for our final meeting and kind of make those categories really clear. We do have a lot of music, which will not be surprising to anyone, but in the numbers, it really plays out. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with the powwow since Cody isn't here, since he'd have to recuse. Oh, there's Cody. And Hey, Cody, can you just give me a roll call mic check, please?
Do I need to that?
No, you're fine as long as we'll just have you mute yourself and not comment, and that should be good. Okay? You good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you are muted. Thanks. Okay, so all right, I'll let you unmute for one thing. How do is it Andanong? Adanong? I always get it on the wrong syllables. Who can help me with the pronunciation so I can finally remember it correctly?
Oh, do not.
Odenong. Thank you.
Julianne,
Yeah.
can you give me a page or a number, please? Sorry.
I can. So we just went back to number 67.
Okay.
And that is in the book. It is on it's 593 in the panel book.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, so the powwow, which is scheduled for May 24th and 25th in Amherst, they are requesting $7,000 out of their $30,750 budget. This powwow is buy-in for the Indigenous people throughout Western Massachusetts and the surrounding areas. It's open to the general public free of charge. The event takes place Memorial Day weekend. It includes drum groups, dance competitions, community dancing, Native American vendors, food and entertainment. And the powwow integrates music, dance, visual arts, storytelling, and more. They intend for the event to be held annually, which it has become a staple of Western Massachusetts culture. But it's also a premier Native American oriented event in Western Massachusetts. And individuals, organizations, and businesses have come to look forward to it each year. So with that, I would welcome someone to either start with some questions or if anyone would like to champion this event.
I'm happy to do both. Happy to champion it and for hopefully obvious reasons. And then my question is, and I assume that this is a longstanding thing that we have funded. And in my notes, I have that my notes are like, can't fully fund, but we should give as much as we can. So I'd be curious to know what the baseline is, and then see where we can go from there.
Absolutely. So in the past, we have certainly tried, we have in some cases fully funded it, and we would certainly try to fully fund it. It has been kind of a heavy lift for the group to put this together, and they do a fantastic job. There's been some turbulence, not from the grantee, but from the town of Amherst, unfortunately, over the years, not being supportive enough with once permits were given and some conflicts came up with, say, the farmers market. That happened a couple years in a row, and this event got bounced to another location, which was profoundly unjust, considering that these are the Indigenous people who were scheduled and had permits to have the event on the town common, which, was theirs first. And then there was a scuffle of, well, maybe the farmers market should have it. And, we worked very closely with this group, and they've been fantastic to work with. And they're bringing a regional Indigenous event here to Amherst. And I just feel that we're very lucky to be part of it. So myself, I'd like to put the $7,000 down, especially for this event. And really try to stick to that. Is there anyone who, it is a large amount. We've funded close to that in prior years. I don't know that, we'll always be able to fully fund any amount they throw out there. And I don't know if we can do it this year, but is there anyone who has?
Starting there. I'm good
I-
with starting there and seeing where we can go.
Yeah.
Sorry, Christy.
Oh, no, I was going to say full or high. What do we call it? High
Partial. I don't even like
partial.
to say the
Thank
word
you. High
partial. It's
partial.
like, like we just need to do this.
Yeah, so, and, and we're hosting, even though it's regional, we're hosting, which is important. And, we are the host town. No, I think, I think we should do as much, and if we need to drop a little bit with
Yeah.
everything else, then,
Yeah, no,
That's- that would be okay for me, so.
yeah. And, it is quite a large budget. They do raise the rest of the 30,000 plus budget. It's a 2-day event, so, yeah, we're just making actually a small contribution towards the total in this case. So, all right, moving to the next, if there are no further comments. So now we're going to jump ahead to number 70, which is Pity Theater Story Wizards, June of 2025. This would be at the Benesky Museum of Natural History in Amherst. They are requesting $750 out of their total $750 budget. And Story Wizards is their newest family audience performance. It has already been touring from New England to Canada, and it says that a wizard, even more melodramatic than the story wizard, has stolen the world's tales. So now their wizard must set off to find them, discovers a musical being, Lorella, living in a giant mushroom, who introduces him to the audience. So in collaboration with the Natural History Museum, the story is a dinosaur-themed drawing on the Benetsky's collection for inspiration. So there are new paleontology-themed stories that emerge from the children's suggestions. There's onstage participation, and kids even get their own calling cards to prove they've become story wizards. So I will open that up for questions, comments, anyone who'd like to champion that.
Letter of some support from Amherst College, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would strongly support this. Nothing better than using local collections.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very reasonable ask at $750, and we don't get a lot that's in the science category, and this is science and education and storytelling and theater and music, and it's wildly creative. And as you said, it's using collections that we have. So that's great. Is there anyone who has any other thoughts other than to try to fully fund this? All right, great. Okay, moving on to Porter Phelps Huntington Foundation, their Wednesday Folk Traditions for 2025. This will be Wednesday evenings in June and July at the Sunken Garden at the Porter Phelps Huntington Museum in Hadley. They're requesting $2,000 out of their $39,400 budget. So this is their 44th season. And they'll have 8 performances. The performers are selected from the region's rich mix of world folk music ensembles. They have established reputations within the wider field of music. The concerts are designed to highlight the region's heritage and to introduce cultures of varied ethnic groups to residents of Hadley and the greater Pioneer Valley. And the Sunken Garden is chosen because it's of accessibility and ADA facilities that it provides. So they hope to attract families by providing reduced admission for youth. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this one? Has any questions? If you have hands up, I can't see them when I'm looking at the.
I mean, this is such a long-standing
Yes.
event, unbelievably long. I mean, I guess I should say I'm not right now, but I used to be on the board of PPHM.
Mhm.
And, Susan, I think Susan's been doing this for
Yeah.
50 years. So, it does get a lot of people, and it's not a big ask from us. But I would also say high partial. I think high partial would be fine too if we need to go down a little bit.
Yeah. over the years, I guess 3 years
What if-
ago, we were at, I think 990, maybe 2 years ago, it bumped up to, we did 1,500. And then I think last year it was 1,000 for some reason that was granted. So, it is 8 events, but we do still have a lot of music. And as far as it being local, like it is very close into Amherst. Like I wouldn't realize that I was in Hadley if I didn't think about it. And I think it's well attended by Amherst folks.
Not free. It's not, I mean,
Yeah, I think that's
You
one of
know,
the reasons we might have not funded as we went down to 1,000 from 1,500 last year was part of the discussion, was people like, people have to pay for tickets and it's music. But it is really successful and people do love it and attend
Yeah.
it. So what do other folks think?
I agree with that assessment.
That it costs money for tickets and it's not free and we have a lot of music?
Yeah,
But it's also
if
really successful.
they did well last year, I mean, they will make up the difference in what they don't get.
I don't know. I mean, Christy was on the board. I don't know if it quite works like that, I don't know if they're running it,
Mm.
it's a nonprofit place, right?
Mm.
They never have enough funds. I'd like us
Oh,
to do a little better than last year, at least, I think.
yeah,
I mean, I was gonna say,
maybe 1,200.
I was going 1,250. We all good with 1,250?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Just a housekeeping. Eventually, I have to go do it. And so, if we still were fine, could I hop off?
We're going to be short a quorum without you, frankly. Evelyn is scheduled to leave in 9 minutes sharp, and Christy is only staying on until Rachel can get here. So I'm sorry, I didn't hear exactly what you were running to, but
I'm errand, but I will hop on my phone.
so how long can you stay, Cody?
I don't know when I'm told I can go.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, let's keep going. We'll get as much done as we can.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving to the next, we have Jennifer Powell applying for a grant for an outdoor sculpture called You Are Here. That would be occurring in either 2025 or 2026, and it's happening across Massachusetts and in your town center. She's requesting $2,175 out of her $2,175 budget. And I'm just gonna jump into this one without honestly reading through the whole application here. So this seems to me to be one that's gone to all of the LCCs, and it's if you give me money, I will come and build this. It's a public art installation that our town has not requested, that would have to go through public art commission. And it's also does not have a firm date, that it could be 2025 or 2026. This is the kind of thing, as a You Are Here kiosk map, that, I think a group like the Bid would be in a place to support or not support. And I don't believe that there's any kind of letter of recommendation or anything, or really just no particular specific benefit in and around Amherst. So they say they applied to all the LCCs. So is there anyone who feels strongly about supporting this or funding it?
No, I was going to since that.
Yeah. Okay. All right, moving to the next. Uma Parani, this is for Amherst Onyi. It would be March 30th, 2025 at the UMass Amherst Campus Center at the Fine Arts Center. They're requesting $32,865 out of their total $32,865 budget. This is a premier Desi dance competition that would be hosted at UMass Amherst, celebrating South Asian arts and culture. They're aiming to provide a platform for artistic expression and cultural exchange, and they hope to promote diversity and inclusion by showcasing countless South Asian dance styles in a fun, competitive environment. They're also creating an environment to show off the talents of DJs, videographers, photographers, and other artists across the diaspora. Amherst Anya is striving to bring a vibrant, culturally enriching experience to the University of Massachusetts Amherst and the surrounding community. And the event features captivating performances of various Indian dance forms, including Bollywood, Bhangra, Gabra Ras, South Indian, Kuthu, and Indian classical dance and contemporary hip hop fusion styles. I will start this one off because this group actually came in person to our information session. And all in all, I mean, I think it sounds like a pretty phenomenal event. I think I have to question my ability, though, to advise and deliver the key points of what a grants application should include, because I really stress to them, to understand, for instance, that, if we only have $60,000 total to give, that it's very hard for the council members to look at a grant that would take up a large portion of that, in this case, more than half. At the time that they spoke with us, they seemed to be saying that they had the space rentals and that UMass was offering that to them in kind. I'm not seeing that here. So we don't have anything as far as letters of support or anything like that. And this is a huge ask. We were also clear about the many things that we couldn't support in the budget, like food. And there's, $3,000+ of food. Well, yeah, I mean, around $8,000 worth of food, at least. Transportation that we can't cover. I think really it's just not what we do when I'm looking at, prize money for the winners, and trophies. I'm really, disappointed, but I think it's just too ambitious and it's too far outside of what we do. And I'm so disappointed after having met with this group, Yes.
I'm joining in with my phone.
Oh, okay. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Christy.
I mean, all those things that you said, and I just wish that they had come with support from the community or support from et cetera, like just other places and people. But it doesn't seem, it doesn't seem like if we gave them $750 or $1,000, I don't know. I can't remember what our response is, when it's like we could give them something. I'm not saying we should, but
$300 is going to do what,
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I wish they would have more in place. And if they were getting the rental, if they were getting the space, the venue, that's not reflected in the grant. So, so I guess I would say no.
Yeah.
Because all those reasons.
Yeah, I don't see any
Don't
way.
need to restate.
to say yes. And there are just so many things that just really aren't typical of what we would include, like merchandise for, all organizers and participants. Often that merchandise is sold. So, like I'm not seeing anywhere, where money's coming in. So and I would imagine that there are probably, for something like this, there'd be some sort of fees for people to participate, and yet I'm not seeing any of that would offset this. It just doesn't add up. Um, so I think we will have to pass on this, and hopefully if they listen back through to this meeting that, they'll apply again and be able to make a stronger case with something and a meaningful request from us that isn't half of our total allocation for the event.
Has a bummer because I actually gave it a high score because I think it's great, but all your points make sense.
Yeah. No one could be more disappointed after I met, this group, and it was like, wow, this would be great. But it's we'll have to see it if they can apply again in another year. Okay, moving to the next. Regional Tibetan Association of Massachusetts is applying for cultivating cultural preservation through grassroots efforts. This will be occurring. It started in September of this year, and it goes through May of 2025. It's held at Most Holy Redeemer Church in Hadley, Massachusetts. They're requesting $4,000 out of their $4,000 budget. Each academic school year, the Tibetan community rallies together to preserve Tibetan language and culture for their Tibetan American youth residing in the Valley. They have a small but vibrant community, but no community center of their own. So they fundraise within the community to rent space at Most Holy Redeemer Church in Hadley. Nearly every Saturday throughout the year, Tibetan parents from the Valley bring their children together to learn their mother tongue language, songs, and dances. 2 Tibetan exchange students at UMass who visit from the Himalayan region also generally help to teach these classes, and the students range from 4 to 18. Generally, the songs and dances the children learn to perform for the children will learn and perform for the community at local gatherings, such as our Tibetan New Year and the gold medal event for His Holiness the Dalai Lama and His Holiness's birthday. Is there anyone who has any questions or would like to speak to this, champion it?
Why are they just asking us? It doesn't seem like they're asking Hadley. I mean, or any other town for that matter, if it's a regional
Mhm.
thing, if it's a
That's-
regional
I
group.
think that is the only major fault that I can find with it. They mentioned something here also, if possible, addition 1,000 would cover expenses for snacks and lunch, which we can't fund anyway. Currently, parents pay for these and typically make food, but that's not something we could help with. I would really like to see us fund a good amount here, if not the whole thing. I agree that they should be asking other communities as well. I have heard from my son, who is friends with some of the Tibetan kids at Amherst High. Just, from what I hear at the dinner table about what he says about his friends and their community, and he hasn't spoken specifically about, who's attending and these events, but it seems like they all speak to each other in the language in that community. And, I think it's just tremendously important to do what we can to support the group. But I agree that they should be asking other cultural councils as well.
Yeah, I agree with all of that and feel strongly about the being able to have exposure to your mother tongue and learn it and keep that cultural tie. And I would advocate for a high partial fund.
You have a number in mind there, Bill?
Remind me what their ask was.
4,000.
Oof. Let me look at their budget real quick here. I mean, I kind of had $1,000 in mind, which would mean that we could pay for the supplies, or we could pay for the teachers.
Mhm.
I don't know if we can do more or not. I'm open to more. I'm just trying to be pragmatic about it as well.
I agree with $1,000. I was going to take the same thing and push amount. So yeah.
I'd really like us to try to stretch this past 1,000, because if you think about language departments at universities, that even major languages that are no longer being taught at UMass, that this community is taking it upon themselves to make sure that their community and the community, people here are learning Tibetan, which is not something that can just be offered at universities if major, languages have been shuttered. This is something that I feel that we can provide and support, maybe not to the total 4,000, but this is a huge labor of love and a huge work effort on their part. And it's really special that it's happening here, that it's possible for it to happen here.
Just to note that we're at time.
Thank you. Christy, did you have a?
I hear you, but I also, I just wish that they had reached out to other, given the fact that it is a community, you've got a group of people already interested in it, to use those, connections to other places, that they had reached out to other groups would make me happier. I mean, I guess I would say 1,500, but anyways, I don't feel strongly against it. It just seems
Yeah.
seems a little anyways,
Okay. I mean, I had 2,000, which is a really large amount. If everyone else is comfortable with trying to hit 1,500,
I would agree with either 1,500 or trying to stretch it to 2,000.
Okay, we shall see. It's, never hurts to put the higher number down, and then, we have to sharpen our pencils. We do have a lot of music, not calling out anyone in particular, and there is a musical component to this, but I don't think we should knock them for it. Okay, to the next. We have Restless Books for their Amherst Immigration Writing Workshops, Fiction and Nonfiction, Translating Emily Dickinson's Poetry with Children, and the Spectacular Transition Machine Yonder Books. This happens starting June 9th and goes through August of 2025. It's happening at Airspace Gallery in Amherst in partnership with the Care Center in Holyoke, Mass. They're requesting $1,000 out of their $5,000 budget. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure that I was on the right line there. Let me backtrack. This is totally incorrect. Why didn't somebody tell me I was messing this up?
Sorry,
right,
I was confused too, but I caught on just as you did.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, this is nothing like last year. Okay. This is happening all of 2025 at the Jones Library. They're requesting $3,000 out of their $3,000 budget. This past summer, they successfully brought the writing workshops to the immigrant writing workshops to the Amherst community. They'd like to bring back this essential program. The workshops will still be free and open to immigrants from all linguistic and graphical backgrounds. They're comprised of 2 90-minute sessions, and they're held in a hybrid model at the Jones Library and over Zoom. They plan to hold 2 workshop sessions in 2025. So translating Emily Dickin's poetry with children and the spectacular transition machine. This is a similar event as last year for 15 children at the Jones Library, during which they work with children from all cultural and linguistic backgrounds. They translate, I think I'm just repeating. And then 2 of the young readers' books, and they also use words and drawings. Is there anyone who has any questions or who would like to speak to this one or champion it?
Sorry, I'm just gonna jump in. I'm just gonna recuse myself just because I know the professor sort of from Amherst College who runs Restless Books, and I have a friend or two who works there. So
I don't know that that raises to the level of recusal,
oh,
but
you think so? Okay, well.
actually, if you could manage to not recuse yourself, since you don't personally benefit.
Yeah, I don't personally know that. I just have friends who work there. Well, yeah,
Otherwise we can't discuss it.
then I'll speak to it.
Okay.
I would champion this. I think that I actually don't know that much specifically about their immigrant writing workshop. But I know that the press does a lot of like excellent cultural work with translation. I know that 3,000 is a lot, so I would advocate for a partial if we can. But
For
I
them
think
at
it's
2,400 last year.
oh, 2,400. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I was even gonna say less than that, but if we can get up to that, that's great. And I'm just happy that it's here in Amherst and continuing to do so at the Jones. Was there a letter of support from the Jones?
I am looking right now.
Yes, Christy says thumbs up.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal what they're doing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I'd vote for high partial.
Cool.
All right, should we put it in at 2,400 for now?
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Okay, any other comments, or we could all just go on and on and on, right? Okay. All right, next we have Annie Rivera with Listen to My Photographs. This is the one that's June 9th through August of 2025 at the Airspace Gallery in Amherst, in partnership with the Care Center of Holyoke, Mass, requesting $1,000 out of their $5,000 budget. And this is a 10-week workshop that teaches young women the art of storytelling through their photography, language, and writing. They'd like to make this art accessible to underprivileged, so the workshops are of no cost to the participants. It introduces participants to the tools of photographic image making, exposing them to new ways of expressing themselves while gaining new skills with the camera. And then they are writing about their photographs, and they're going to connect their personal lives and challenges, which will allow for healing, also charting memories and sharing commonalities. The team mentors include Annie Gonzalo Rivera, a photographer and mixed media artist who has exhibited his work nationally. Other team members include Mars Champagne and Madeline Keating, who are local artists and photographers, as well as visiting artists and mentors. Annie Rivera is the director of the Airspace Gallery. Is there anyone who'd like to speak to this one, have any questions, etc.?
My only concern is it's not an image. And as always, how many young people from Amherst are going to attend?
How many, young people from Amherst would participate? Okay. You know, to that end, the gallery itself is here in Amherst. Right? So this is pretty local to here. I mean, I don't think we can necessarily, if they're trying to bring in, young folks who are outside of Amherst, especially Holyoke, that's enriching for the Amherst kids that do participate.
And
And for what we're doing, it's not a huge ask.
yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of photography and the value that it gives. And I hear Cody on that for sure. But I also say that if we look at it from the exhibition part of it, right, that can enrich the community as well and expose us to a form of art and an interpretation of art that we may not otherwise see.
Yeah.
And I marked, I think, on my notes as a partial for this one for that very reason. And it looks like they have also submitted applications to other communities in the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, absolutely. They do have, yeah, some of the stuff that we can't fund, there's travel and transportation and food in their budget, very minimal cost for those, but they're requesting well under that from us. And they did apply to Holyoke and Northampton. So I think with that, they're making a point that they have a Northampton open media grant application in for 2,000, and they've applied to Holyoke for 2,000 and to Northampton for 1,000. So from my perspective, this is really a very measured ask, and they aren't necessarily counting on all of those other grants coming in fully either, so they are looking at how they'd have to make this up. So I would fully fund something like this myself if just because of what it is and the value and that it's in Amherst. So I think we're all in agreement about at least a high partial.
I mean, I would love to fully fund it myself, but I had 750 in mind.
Unless someone tells me not to, I'm gonna put the 1,000 down here because from my perspective, I think it's really unique and it's a real growth opportunity, and it gives young folks, the ability to feel like they own art within themselves in a way that heals them. I mean, it's just, if we can't fully fund it, then we'll have to, unless someone thinks there's some other reason to put it for less at this point now. Not at the moment. Okay. All right. Moving to the next. We have Self-Evident Education, the Power of Truth's Arts and Education Festival. This is April 4th and 5th at the Bombyx Center for the Arts in Florence, Massachusetts. They're requesting $500 out of their $40,500 budget. This is the 4th annual Power of Truth, Arts and Education Conference. It's a multi-day event dedicated to exploring intersections between arts and education as a powerful tool for fostering a just and equitable society. They're requesting support for this inspiring event, which will feature thought-provoking presenters, performers, talks, panels, and workshops. It's will be used to bring educators and students from Amherst Regional High School to this powerful event. Talib Sadiq, the principal of Amherst High School, will help with the organization for that group to bring them to the event. Okay, is there anyone who would like to, and I think I might have skipped one accidentally, which we'll go back to, but is there anyone who has any questions who'd like to champion this event? I will say that if Mr. Sadiq is behind this, he's a tremendous supporter and just a really special person to have in our community. So
I'm happy to champion this. It feels like a really easy, yes, it's a modest amount. About the principal, like, yeah, he's a tremendous resource. And the fact that, we're bringing students to this, yeah, it's a slam dunk for me.
Absolutely. Is everyone else good with attempting to fully fund their modest $500 ask here?
Yes.
Okay, well, we are no longer at a quorum.
What do we do?
I really don't know.
Should we hang tight for a second and hope he?
Yeah, I mean,
Over
Rachel's
that
supposed to be
Okay.
joining, and I don't think Cody meant to leave. Cody turned into someone else on camera before he left. So it's, I'm assuming he was there within earshot.
Hang,
There's
oh,
Cody.
there, he's back.
Okay. All right. You there, Cody? I just need to hear your audio before we continue. Thank
Yeah,
you. Okay.
I'm in bad surgery. So I may go in and out.
Thank you for letting us know. Okay, going back, the one that I missed, this is Wilton Shareka for Black Oralities. And this is April of 2025 to occur in both Amherst and in Northampton. They're requesting $3,500 out of their $4,000 budget. It is an exploration of the history of Southern Africa through music. Wilton Shareka is a DJ and a musician, so he plans to spin records for the public across multiple weekend mornings in public spaces like parks or markets, and then also run a small lecture and listening sessions at the end of April to speak about the sounds and the importance of Africa and Africa's diaspora. Is there anyone who has any questions or would like to speak to this, champion it?
Can we fund these things?
I have a question about public benefit, considering that nothing's concrete, nothing's booked. It's just, hey, this would be kind of cool to do, but nothing's lined up myself. That would be my concern.
Oh.
But I
That's
mean,
my
yes,
concern.
we can fund things like this. It's just no date, no location, no letter of support. I know $3,000 to purchase equipment.
I mean, it's almost as if there were more money for advertising or outreach but you don't get a sense of that. I just think it's not well developed enough.
I agree. I mean, I think it sounds very cool, but without, I don't see the cultural council, providing $3,000 to purchase DJ equipment for something that doesn't have a date or a location. So I think this one's a pass for us unless someone feels strongly. Okay, and I'm sorry, folks, that I'm jumping around. So now we're jumping ahead to, because we've already done self-evident education. So now we're at the Seven Arts Concert. This is their 57th anniversary season that will occur in Worthington, Massachusetts in July through August. They're requesting $1,000 out of their $38,000 budget. So I just want to make sure I'm on the right one. So this is their 56th season. And I'm just going to jump into this one because this is a group that actually is traveling up from New York City. In the several years past, we did fund them a small amount, but the event is not occurring in Amherst. I think they're making the case that because there's virtual and it could be by Zoom, that therefore, but I don't personally see that this is something that the Amherst community is participating for, asking for, traveling to from materials that we.
But it's this is a pretty big thing, the 7 Hours series. I mean, I think it is, the music fans of Amherst, it's something, it's like going to Tanglewood. I mean, it's,
So their mailing address is New York, which I get because they're large, but you know, I don't see anything here that's specific to Amherst other than, okay, there are just many music devotees with many from Amherst.
I feel like we should, you know, it's and, you know, it's one of the hill towns, big, serious, high level music events. I mean, I feel like our name should be on the program. And I think that people do go. I mean, Kevin and I have gone from Amherst, and you know, it's another level. I'm not, they're asking for 1,000.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not going to go to the mat on this one, but it seems to me it's like funding Porter Phelps Huntington. You know, it's not in town, but it's
Oh, but come on. I mean, you're just bumping over the Hadley line there. Like, I mean, out of Amherst into Hadley. And we know countless, you know, locals really do go there. I think this is one, by the way, Christy, that
have
we
we
haven't
not
funded, you know, going the last 3 cycles, we have
okay.
not.
I
But
mean, fine.
Does I mean, just given music and, you know, I get what you're saying that it's high profile, but is there any way
How about 500?
I'm really struggling with it because that means there's someone else that would do something right here that we can't fund. That's a whole event.
I agree with you, Julianne. And if you look at their one, it's classical music, which we have a ton of. Two, if you look at their budget, it's almost entirely covered before they even applied for any grants, from what I can tell.
Mhm.
Assuming that they make all of those numbers. And yeah, I share the concerns about the location and whether or not or how much of an impact it has on the community.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Christy, you know, but it would be nice to have our name on the program, but at the same time, I think, you know, more of the folks in Amherst are relying on us bringing events to them than getting our name on the program.
I'm a little bit with Christy. I'm agree. I don't have to go to the mat on it at all, but I kind of would like to. I don't know. I do think it has public benefit, and I am kind of convinced that people would go to see it.
I'd have to look back through notes, but I think we had reduced them
Okay, until you just didn't fund it all.
until we didn't fund them at all. I feel, you know, like I said, I'm going back to 2022 and it's not there. So I think the last one might have been like 100 or like 95 or 85 or something.
Yeah.
Like we were waiting for them to kind of get the message, but you know, to that end, like a really small token amount, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I wouldn't either, but I would also be top of the list to move it somewhere else if we came up against that kind of decision.
Should we, what's a good number to put?
I mean, I was fine with 100.
Okay, let's put 100. We'll
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
where we end up with all our wonderful music.
Yeah.
All right, moving to the next. Shea Theater Arts Center, Shea's Lounge, which is happening spring of 2025 at the Shea Arts Center. They're requesting 500 out of their $5,000 budget. So this is a performance series that features local artists sharing music, art, theater, and variety acts in a casual, laid-back atmosphere in and around the Shea Theater's lobbies. The series can facilitate a wider range of in-progress showing for artists whose work may not require the use of the 350-seat proscenium auditorium, but will thrive in more intimate space. and can accommodate 40 to 75 comfortably. So these performances include poetry readings, new play works, immersive theater pop-ups, reading, music, art salon, crafts, puppetry, and more. They create a second fully equipped and accessible performance and gathering space within the Shea Theater, and it serves as a community arts hub to highlight local voices and provide opportunities to new artists and upcoming makers while supporting additional tourism to town. Is there anyone who has any questions, would like to speak to this champion it?
I was conflicted on this one. On the one hand, I like the idea. I like the multidisciplinary part of it where you have lots of different mediums and types of events. And I struggle with the fact that it's in Turner's Falls. Not because it's in another town, but just will people make the effort to travel the 20-25 minutes to get there? And I say that to get people's opinions on what they think about that.
Turner's is 30 minutes from Amherst.
Okay.
In support of it, I'd say that it's unique, it's participatory, and that certainly some folks would travel, to be able to do something like that if there wasn't something in the area, but it is something of a distance. I don't know.
My argument is that we have funded events in Turner before, so I don't think travel is a fair argument to not fund this event.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, they're looking at having a total of 250 people as part of the event, right? So if we look at that, to what extent, are we really drawing from the Amherst community? I guess another thing though, in their favor is it's free to sliding scale as far as people entering and paying for it. And they have applied to many cultural councils. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, all really from the close in surrounding area. So I think a partial here would certainly be in line, and keeping in mind that those very, very small communities, they can have very, very little money that they're receiving per year. Should we put this at 100?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm with 100.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Moving to the next. Silverthorne Theater Company is applying for their summer 2025 season that runs from June 6th to July 27th. And this is at the Hampshire College Theater in Amherst. They're requesting $3,000 out of their $38,150 budget. And last year marked the first season of their new production model. They had spring play readings and events throughout Hampshire, Hampden, and Franklin counties, and a summer main stage season of fully produced shows in Amherst. And they're excited to have their second season with that model. And having learned lessons from the first season, they're going to continue to evolve and grow. The season centers on voices who are underrepresented in theater, including people of color, queer, and trans folks, both on stage and behind scenes. Their main stage season will have 2 ambitious, complex productions, each which speaks to their current moment in unexpected ways. Is there anyone has any questions or would like to champion or speak to this event?
Partial is what I would say. It's local. It looks interesting. They have a lot of support.
Yeah. I would agree with that. You know, we've funded them the last few years. I guess in 2023, we funded them 705. Last year, we bumped it up to 2,000, and now they are asking for, what was it? Was it 3,000? I considering, you know, just how many events we have this year, I think it would perhaps be ambitious to try to even make the 2,000.
I was going to say 1750 to pick a number. But
I hate to decrease it because you know, but at the same time, you know, I think we've had some things that have really stood out that we're not going to want to cut. And $250 in some cases can be an entire event or most of it. So is everyone good with trying to keep it there? Thanks. I'm hoping Rachel will be here soon.
I know
Okay.
I am fading a little bit,
I
but I'm
know. Thank you
clinging. I'm
such a
clinging to life here. I'm clinging.
Okay, so we've got Adam Simon with the South River Singers Community Choir. They started performing in October this year, and it runs through May of 2025. It's occurring in Conway and Northampton. This is a non-audition community choir of 60 singers led by Conway residents Adam Simon and Sophie Michaud. They meet 2 Tuesday evenings a month. At a church in Conway, Unitarian church, I think, and sing a wide variety of styles, from American folk, Eastern European songs, South African hymns, etc. They have to limit it to 60 singers because of the size of their rehearsal space, and the season ends in May with a benefit concert at Edwards Church in Northampton. On the music at the Crossroads concert series, and 100% of the donations from the audience members go to Musica Franklin, the Greenfield-based intensive after-school music program modeled on El Sistema, a hugely successful music and social change program started in Venezuela 40 years ago. Is there anyone who has any questions, who would like to speak to this or champion it? I think I'll jump in and champion it as far as, no, it's not local, but as far as where they're practicing, but then they bring it to Northampton and that the entire thing ends up supporting after school programs. And they're only asking, there's so much culture going on and they're only asking us for $300 to bring that to the community. You know, that's a lot of public benefit there. And to be able, you know, you've got such a successful program, you have to cap it at 60 folks. So in the guise of, yes, we have a lot of music, but the benefit to me here, the music's just gravy. It's everything else, including it being all for donation to another program.
Yeah, I agree.
I can get behind it. Yeah.
You could get behind it if, or you could just get behind it.
I can get behind the total. So yeah.
Great. Okay. Any other comments, or can we move to the next? Okay. Thank you. All right, we have Springfield Symphony Orchestra with their musical Petting Zoo, fall of 2024 and winter of 2025 at the Banks Center or the Jones Library. They are requesting $3,000 out of their $3,000 budget. So this petting zoo makes it possible for exposure to musical instruments and sounds that may be foreign to some families and youth in our community. With regard, this aspect of their events is to provide a valuable education to children who may not have had access to cultural experiences and the joy of healing that music can bring. I'm going to go ahead and jump into this one because we funded the musical petting zoo last year, and I'm not sure what the actual dates were on that. But I'm just unclear if the fall part of this was included already. I mean, I think it's a nice idea. Certainly, we were pretty enthusiastic about it last year, but I'm not seeing information about it being the second time and what they're kind of doing differently. Does anyone else have some thoughts here?
Well, I mean, one thing is we can't fund, I'm just trying to Google it and see what's going on, but we can't fund the transportation, right? Anyways,
No, not at all. And they're requesting the entire budget. Yeah. So absolutely not.
and you know, there's paid advertisement, but there's a lot of free advertisement out there too. That I'm just not, I'm trying to, I see it advertised. Anyways, I guess I think it's a good thing. I think we've done it in the past.
Are there no letters of support this time around? It's coming to me. It's just a bit strange that we just funded the same thing last year, and
well,
I don't even have a letter of support from the Jones. Especially, if they've just been hosting that. Let me look at what we funded it for last year. We funded $750 worth. This is a huge additional ask.
yeah. Julianne, may I disappear? Rachel is here. Hi, Rachel.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christy. Yes, please go
Sorry,
get the seat.
I gotta go to bed.
No, I
I'm
know. Really
hurting.
appreciate it.
Okay, sorry. So I won't see you on Wednesday. I'll
On
see you,
Wednesday, we'll see you Monday.
but I'll see you on Monday and Wednesday. And if,
Excellent. Well, hopefully just Monday, if we can really kind
hopefully
of
just Monday.
rock it on here, we will do our best. So,
Excellent.
all right. Safe
Okay.
travels.
Okay, bye. Bye, everyone.
Christy.
Hey, Rachel. So thank you. Your mic works and everything. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we've tested. Hi, hello, everyone. Yeah.
All right. So we're on the Springfield. I guess, Bill, we're probably at time.
We almost 50 seconds.
Okay. Well, that's a good chunk of time. I mean, we funded this for 750 last year, but I continue to have concerns because this was listed as, I guess it was fall of 2023, so through winter of 2024 last year. So I guess it does not overlap. I'm pretty frustrated that they're not bringing something new, or they're not, like the Silverthorne is like, oh, well, we've evolved because we did this last year and here's what we're doing with that. And this is just, I don't know. And where's the letter of support?
So the letter of support, I think, is a little bit troubling to me. The not doing anything new doesn't bother me because it's a petting zoo. Like I'm a huge believer in that.
Pets, by the way. You get that it's not pets, it's instruments.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I've seen so many kids get into music because they've had that experience that they wouldn't get otherwise. There is something magical about picking up an instrument, making a sound out of it if you've never done it before, that draws you into music, I think. I don't know that you have to do anything new or evolve that if as long as the event runs smoothly. But that said, like the lack of detail here is a little bit concerning. I mean, it's the SSO. I assume they can pull this off, but we can't not ding them when we ding other people for the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they said that they applied to South Hadley and Springfield also, and they said that, you know, they could possibly get funding for it somewhere else. So if we look at, let's say that, you know, they were getting funding from multiple sources, 3,000 is a huge ask, huge. What makes sense here?
I mean, I'm fine with funding them the same as we did last year. I mean, if the event was pulled off with that, then and with whatever the rest of their budget was, I'm good with that.
Anyone else? Should we, since it's kind of like not a new format, do we drop it to 500?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
We are not at quorum again.
What happened to Cody?
It's in and out. Yeah.
I think it's the service or something.
Yeah, it looks like the exact same application
Yeah.
from before.
Okay. Let's see. Cody made his way back last time. Let's see if he comes. There you are. Excellent. Thank you, Cody. All right. If we're good, I'm going to move to the next, which is Starlight Youth Theater, Aladdin Jr., the musical, happening March 22nd at Amherst Middle School. They're requesting $500 out of their $14,000 budget. So 50 students in grade 1st through 6th will perform in Aladdin Jr., the musical. Multiple shows will be performed at Amherst Middle School. There's a lot more to this, I am sure, as far as if we actually go into the full application. This is a group that applies every year and does a fantastic job. And I mean, the community's really come to rely on this. There is some cost for participation. The students have to pay for a semester-long class, and there are tickets sold at a very reasonable $7 each. So I wish I could speak to just how many years they have been doing this event, but it's a pretty small ask, and I know it's really, you know, well attended as far as the performance, but also as far as the number of participants from Amherst. Hello, Doe. Welcome.
Hi, Howie. I'm sorry I'm late, but I was.
We're glad to have you. Yeah.
Thank
Joe
you.
is our newest council member, and probably the best
Oh,
thing for you to do at this point is just to listen and see what we're doing, and then you
Yeah.
and I can talk sometime soon afterwards for upcoming meetings.
Thank you. I just
Welcome.
listened today.
Okay, awesome. I mean, if you got something to say, don't be shy. But
Okay.
all right. Anyone want to champion this event or speak to Starlight Theater?
I'll champion it. It seems like very small ask or a reasonable ask, and they're doing a great thing. So I would support trying to fully fund this if we can.
Great. Okay, I think it's reasonable. All right. Everyone good with that? Excellent. Moving to the next, and just a little side word to Doe. Bill is my timekeeper tonight. We try to keep all of these initial
Okay, good.
presentations to 5 minutes each. And then we circle back to the more challenging ones. Okay, so starting on Paul Sticka, this is Acoustica Band concert for the community sometime in June of 2025 at the Strong House in Amherst. They are requesting $850 of their $850 budget. This group is passionate about creating artistic, original, music-inspired events. In 2023, their group performed a concert for the community at Stronghouse, which was very successful. They would appreciate the opportunity to perform at Stronghouse in 2025 and to increase the awareness of original live local music. It would
아, 이게 안 열려?
include a performance by their
다르구만.
group Americana, in the Americana music format, which spans rock, country, blues, and folk. And Paul would be heavily involved in promoting and publicizing the event via various media outlets. And then they would
가면 돼.
work with the venue, contact Liz Larson, the
타겟 간다는 거야.
director,
타겟 그냥 가면 돼.
to ensure that the event is successful. Liz has provided a letter of support, which can be provided if needed. Please see our website. Okay. Joe, if you wouldn't mind muting, that would, there's just a little background noise, Joe. Okay, I think I've muted. Well, I'm really pleased to see that there is a letter of support that and I might have had a problem with the system for actually inputting that, but that was a blocker to funding them last year. Was we requested a letter of support and did not hear back, so I'm glad that that's in line. So, but along the lines of music, 850 is a pretty big ask at this point. I guess it'd be useful. I can explain how much we funded them in the past. Previously, yeah, we funded $750 for the event in 2023. And I don't have an amount for 2022, but I think we did something. Okay. So
This is the only application he's put in because
Yeah.
he's somebody who I think has put in more than one in the past. Is that correct? Or what?
I don't think so
Oh, okay.
necessarily, but I think he might have at other times been involved, included in some blanket, other strong house concert events, and then added this on an addition. I don't think we have that case this year. So, I know we've discussed in the past that it's several musicians, and they're each getting paid an amount. I'm not sure how many musicians it is, but it's a pretty modest amount that they're paying. I wasn't aware that they'd have to rent Stronghouse to do this. I thought they were invited to do it. So
Okay, so sorry, I wasn't at the last meeting. Was there any discussion about where we stand in terms of, the kind of events at certain venues? We had discussed, music, different types of events. We wanted to kind of spread out our funding for that. But in terms of venue, is it?
Yeah. So, Bill started to do some really great work as far as kind of categorizing things. Excuse me. But Strings at the Strong is an event that's happening there, yes. But this is an entirely different format of music happening there. And it's, he's not part of that event. So it's, and it is
Oh, it's just
something
venue.
right here in
Yeah.
Amherst.
Got it. No, so I said Stronghouse is really just a venue like any other venue. So we should think of it as like something else happening there.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, more stuff happening at Stronghouse, considering it's like right here, and it, is
Okay.
pretty good. I don't necessarily think we can fund the whole thing.
Are we
What
okay with half or no?
So how about 500? Is that too much?
I mean, we're at time. I kind of had half in mind as well, just because we have so much music at this point.
Okay.
Even though it's not, I mean, I know we're classical heavy, but and this is different.
Yep.
Yeah, I say 500. Wow.
Okay, I think, okay, well, I'll put it down for the 425. Okay. All right, moving to the next survival centers, the Amherst Survival Center, their Tunes at Noon. This is an all year long event. It starts in January and runs through December. And it is at the Amherst Survival Center here in North Amherst. They're requesting $1,200 out of their $4,250 budget. This is a long-running event, which underscores the dedication of Amherst Survival Center to nourish the whole person. So each month, professional musicians present a variety of genres during a free community lunch. And they've usually have between 100 and 200 attendees of all ages that gather for lunch and use the food pantry and their other activities. Their 60-minute music sets in their main dining area. On the days with live music, the effect is tangible. Participants smile, they tap their toes, they nod to the music as they enjoy their lunch. So it's a series of 12 concerts, and it ensures live music is accessible to all, regardless of income, and nourishes the spirit, while the food received nourishes their body. It exposes our community to music of many genres and cultures. Musicians, in turn, also value the unique audience at Amherst Survival Center, sharing the positive influence it has had on them as well. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this? Has any questions? Would like to champion it?
I'm happy to champion this one. I mean, I know the good work that they do there. And yeah, you can't deny like having to come in to the center, I'm sure can be, having some music there to help uplift a spirit is an undeniable good thing.
Yeah.
That said, like, I would love to fund as much as possible. I don't know if we can do the full 1,200 on this one, but certainly a high partial would be good to me.
Yeah. I mean, this one, I don't, yes, it is music, but I don't look at it as just music.
Right.
The music is what is enabling, connection and friendship and feelings of, being accepted and cared for. And in the past, we've certainly have tried to, do a good job with funding it. So it was funded at $1,200 in 2023. And at $1,000 last year. I would hate to go down from 1,000 and would prefer to be able to do it at the 1,200.
Yeah, I
And
agree with you, Julianne, but sorry, you want to go ahead?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think I agree with you, but it feels like practically speaking, 1,000 might be reasonable. And I think the good thing about this type of grant and the way they've applied for it is that because it's a monthly event, if we say this is what we're able to support, what is the amount that as a council we can allocate, then they can use it towards, in a way that works for them, because it's not a one-off, right? So it's so they can manage the money that we give them. So I think 1,000 feels,
I'm good with that.
reasonable.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. I'm fully support that.
Excellent. All good? Okay, moving to the next. We have Joshua Swift with Group Dance and Community Workshops 2 series in Hadley and Northampton that runs January and February of 2024 and spring of 2024. I think I need to check the dates here in the application, because if this is really 2024, we absolutely cannot fund it. We could fund events that happen from July 1 through December of 2024, but we cannot fund anything that was happening in the first half of 2024. And this is a regular applicant. So let me just take a quick look. And it does say those dates in 2024. Yeah, this is just something that we absolutely can't fund given the dates. That's a shame. So that is something that we'll go ahead and we'll reject that, but that's something that can certainly be straightened out in if the grantee comes back and appeals and perhaps, explains to the MCC at that point that no, those dates were incorrect and that was a typo or something, then perhaps that could be put right. But as far as with the information that we have, we are not able to fund that.
So that's very straightforward then.
That is very straightforward. Yeah, and this is someone who does a great job that we have worked with, year in, year out. So it's but we cannot fund those dates. Okay, so moving to the next, we have Tamarack Hollow Nature and Cultural Center. This is the Gaia Roots World Music Workshop and Concert. And it's set to be either spring or fall of 2025 at Amherst High. They're requesting $1,000 out of their $1,000 budget. So this is a world music drum and song ensemble, Gaia Roots. They're going to hold an interactive workshop and concert event featuring traditional West African and Caribbean drum songs and stories in collaboration with the Special Education Department at Amherst Regional High School. The program is free to the Amherst Regional High School community. Gaia Roots teaches and performs traditional drum and percussion rhythms from the Caribbean, West Africa, and beyond, blended with traditional songs, harmonies, folkloric dance, and storytelling. Is there anyone who has any questions or would like to speak to this or champion it?
I will champion this. I think it's a great event. I know we have African drumming already, but hey, one time forward.
Thank you. Yeah, this is an event or a group that we have funded previously. If not under the same name, it may have been as a partner or part of other grants. I don't necessarily think I have exactly. And they're pretty collaborative and work with several different groups. It is a big ask, but I think, the value is certainly there for the community. I'm trying to see if I can see what we would have funded in the last year around this. Anyone else have any comments? Nothing? Am I still on the call? Okay, you're all there.
No, I don't have anything additional to add. I think it's good.
So what would you like to do with that?
I mean, I think it's hard to know. We're getting to the point where fully funding is going to be tough, I think, as much as I would love to.
I mean, one of the things we want to try to avoid doing, though, is to, fully fund people at the beginning and then start, ratcheting it down as
that's a good point.
long. We did fund them at $1,000 in 2023.
I mean, I'm good with that. Absolutely. I don't know what we'll have to. We can always rebalance, I suppose.
Yeah. Is everyone else good with that? I can't see you guys because I'm looking at the chart. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay. Next we have the Color Collaborative with Imagined Worlds that's occurring from now until December until June of 2025 at Amherst Pelham Regional High School. They're asking for $3,000 out of their $38,000 budget. This is a 6-month youth mental health and public art initiative at Amherst Regional High School. In winter 2025, they're going to bring a therapist to train art teachers on art therapy curriculum. and ask students to imagine a space where they feel safe and positive. The Color Collaborative artist incorporates student work into the design for large-scale mural and on the exterior of the school wall. The magic of the project is that we say yes to the students' wild ideas. From race car surfing on a tidal wave to flying cinnamon rolls, the mural can be abstract, nonsensical even, but it's a powerful message to students. Your imagination is valued. Through a school-wide paint party, students, families, and the broader community can come together to begin painting the mural, which will later be finished by the Color Collaborative artist. The program culminates in a ribbon cutting ceremony in May. Is there anyone who wants to speak to this one? Any questions, champion it?
I have a question just because I don't think we've run across this before. Is there any issue paying for a therapist to train teachers in the public school?
It does seem like that is something that they probably would be able to secure funding from, other funding sources, whether it doesn't even necessarily have to be a grant. That said, it is a $38,000 budget, of which they're asking Amherst Cultural Council for $3,000 of it.
I mean,
So
I don't have an issue as long as it's allowed. I guess I just hadn't seen anything. It feels like, professional development kind of thing is, I don't know if there's a restriction on whether or not we can fund that sort of thing. If not, then I'm good.
I'm with you that part of the budget doesn't necessarily seem like something that would be really in line with the kinds of things that we fund. I don't think there's something that prohibits us. At the same time, I think the part that speaks to me is, if you just look at the part of it of the community painting party, that's an event, and then the resulting mural that's on the outside of the school, that's something that all of the community can enjoy. That said, I don't necessarily think that we have $3,000, for this particular project at this point, right? They are seeking funding from many of the other cultural councils, which makes sense because, those communities have students here as well. And, they did provide quite a bit of supplemental stuff here. So,
Would it
I
be
guess.
appropriate to propose that we fund this on par with similar projects with, like with, these proposals that are meant to benefit, whether it's, youths or within these set context of communities? And I don't know whether we would do it based on like a percentage of the requested amount versus just a straight dollar amount, because in a way that almost seems fairer, right? Because I could ask for $10,000 and you want to give me 10%. So if we just use a percentage, that might not seem so fair. Whereas if we, towards the end, we say this is the range of money we have for this type of projects.
I think if you're saying like specifically for things that Amherst schools are requesting.
Yeah, exactly. And if it's, benefiting teens or, the cross-section of the intersection rather of teens and mental health and, kind of therapy or like training. I think we have a bunch of these proposals that have very similar objectives.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing that I'm really concerned about, while it's all pretty well spelled out, was I don't see a letter of support. I see a case study for something they did in Northampton. It does say that Amherst Regional High School art teachers and administrators are all working on this project as part of their regular employment. So their time is in kind for the project. I don't know that that's an in kind donation. That's their job, which I really appreciate their service as well.
From our perspective, it almost feels, I mean, I don't know if, what do you all think, but I just feel like it feels somewhat equitable to say, this is, we as a council, we support these based on this dollar amount for this type of project per per application?
I don't know quite how to do you know, the arithmetic gymnastics to do that in my head across everything right this minute. So I can't process it, but I'm not a numbers person.
So just note that we're at time, until you bring a good point up about I mean, we have to assume they have support if the teachers are working on it, but
It does say here that Talib Sadiq, the principal at Amherst High, has made a firm commitment to the project. He's been instrumental in communicating with the teachers, administrator. I mean,
okay.
we have to take their word for it. I do, you know, believe this is credible. But you know, I think this is you know, it's a partial, and it's nowhere near, you know, 3,000 that we would have to for this. In the interest of getting through, does anybody have a number to put out there? Sorry, Rachel, that I can't get to what you're getting at without doing a lot of analysis at the moment.
I mean, I'll throw it 1,000 as a nice round number. It doesn't seem too high.
I might have been thinking 500. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with that.
Yeah, given the amount that's going to be supported already.
That's a good.
Is there anyone who has a problem with that number? Okay. Hey, we're making great progress here, folks. Thanks so much. All right, moving to the next. The Jewish community of Amherst is applying for community Israeli folk dance. This is monthly from November to June at the Jewish Community Center of Amherst, Massachusetts. They are requesting $2,500 out of their $3,600 budget. So Israeli folk dance is fun. It's a fun and accessible way for people of all abilities to learn to dance. Dancers enjoy a low barrier engagement through choreographed songs in Hebrew that include many movements in a circle with partners and line dances as they experience history and culture. This is free dance lessons to the community once a month for 12 months. Although it does say that it's occurring November through June. So I guess I'm not quite clear there. Is there anyone who would like to champion this or speak to this event? We are a lively group.
I mean, I'll champion it because I mean, it's different from some of the other things that we're doing. It's participatory, it's multi-event, it's in Amherst, and it feels like something that would, you know, benefit a wider group of folks. Yeah, it seems definitely worth funding at some level.
But what percentage, Bill, given kind of what we've been working through just now, you know, in terms of just, you
yeah,
know,
no, it's a fair question.
so is it like 500? Are we talking about
Let me look
800?
at their,
Yeah.
no, their budgets don't really break anything out. It's just fees to pay dance instructors. I mean, yeah, I mean, I struggle too, like in kind of thinking about how much we've committed already. I know we can rebalance, but we don't want to have to go back and rebalance like $100,000 down to 60. I mean, I would be good with 500 to 750, something in that range. I mean, I think it's still significant enough that it would pay for, even if it doesn't fully fund, it would still pay for some events, more than one.
Yeah, we're currently the running tally is at $70,000.
Okay, which is not horrible because we're
not horrible,
not
no.
so far away from the end.
And that's before putting in 750 for this. I think I would feel badly to put less than 750.
Yeah.
You know, if I look at other cultural groups, you know, that we're funding, you know, similar song, dance, you know, community. So is everyone good to try to keep it at the 750? Okay, thank you all. Okay, we now have the literacy project. They're going to be presenting the Belle of Amherst in October 2025, and this will be at the Amherst Women's Club right here in Amherst. They're requesting $2,400 of their $3,800 budget. This is a one-woman show depicting the life and work of Emily Dickinson. There's an open dress rehearsal will be held for students and staff of TLP. Guys, I'm tired. I don't
I
know
think
what.
the literacy project.
Oh, thank you. All right. That's no charge there, followed by 3 public showings in combination with evening and matinee performances. Is there anyone who'd like to speak to this?
I didn't see a venue documentation. Did anybody else?
I think they said that it's at the Women's Club on Triangle Street. Project location, is that not an appropriate place to actually have a performance? I have not been.
I don't know. I mean, it's not a big space I mean, they have different rooms, but I just meant like, sometimes we would have letters of support from the venue or saying, we are happy to host this event or performance, whatever. So I don't remember that with this one. I just had a note, but
It says that the Amherst Women's Club is committed to use their lovely Victorian space for October. So they're committing to use it, but they're charging $1,950 for rental. So it's booked, but this group has to, a good portion of the budget is the space rental. It's actually the largest part of the budget. And they're charging $20 each for tickets.
And if you read their application, they write it such that if this grant isn't fully funded, they will not be able to mount the production.
I don't see that we would be able to fully fund it.
No, I agree, which is why I brought that up.
It's with Emily Dickinson, it'd be nice to see some sort of use of that from, Emily Dickinson Museum or other groups that are working with her. I'd have a hard time not funding it, considering. And in the past, just to give a little context, we're really, unless it's like egregiously out of scope, like the $30,000 applications where, okay, there'd be community benefit, but if it's somewhere within scope, at that point, it's not that it doesn't provide public benefit. This does provide public benefit, right? It's up to the grantee at that point to determine, whether they can actually produce the event with our partial award, because, I'm not even looking at the numbers. I'm a total blank here. So I'm going to just pick a really low number. Like if we came back and said, okay, we'll give you $250, they really, and that means they truly can't do the event, then they really should decline the award at that point. Right.
Yeah.
Or let's say if they said, okay, great, we're going to take the 250, they get it for a direct grant. Somewhere along the line, they realize, oh, we're not going to be able to do this. We're not going to be able to write a final grant report. This isn't coming through. Then they owe the money back. So, we have to basically assess it based on, does it deliver public benefit? And, to what extent are we able to fund it for the public benefit that we believe it would provide based on what we have, and then kind of let all the rest settle out. So from there, is anybody able to kind of think about what it makes sense for us to try to commit to here? I don't think anyone here is saying don't fund it at all. Is that the case?
I think if we're oh, Bill, you want to say something? Go ahead. Okay, what I was going to say is that if what we're talking about is if most of the amount being like the amount that is being requested is going to the venue, then it's almost like is the venue a partner in this production? You know what I mean? In terms of like giving in kind, because they already have the venue. So if we were to give the whatever amount that we're able to give, is it either the venue can work with that or finding an alternate venue? And that's really up to the grantee to decide. So I think, yes, let's support the project, but we are not in a position to give them the full amount that's being requested.
No, not at all. And again, if they change the venue, then they actually have to file an amendment with us to say, oh, well, we had to go to a different venue. You know, can you do a simple amendment for us based on that? But, you know, for instance,
Charge them less.
Hmm?
Or the venue can charge them less to do the production.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you take the venue off of this, you're at 1,850 for the remaining expenses, which are royalty and scripts, fees, supplies at $200, radio advertising at $200, and a $1,000 honoraria for the actress and the director. So I still don't think we can necessarily, you know, even get near, you know, 1,800.
I mean, I'd be good with half of that. And I appreciate all of the context that you and Rachel both provided about how to think through some of this. That's really helpful for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Does everyone feel that trying to do something in the neighborhood of 900 would be appropriate here?
They're asking for 2,400, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 900, yeah, or less, yes.
750? Does that feel? That's the problem with these 2-hour-long meetings, folks. You're doing great, but we all got kind of.
I'm good with 750.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay, let's see if we can get a couple more done here. We have Nolembeka Project. This is a celebration of Native American art, music, and cultures. This is August 2nd and August 3rd, and it is in Turner's Falls. They're asking for $700 out of their $38,800 budget. This is an annual celebration of Native American art, music, and culture. It honors the history and the continuing presence of Northeastern Indigenous peoples. They host tribal presenters to share directly with our people. It is held in Great Falls, Turner Falls, and I don't want to say this wrong. I said it wrong. Overlooking the Connecticut River. Sorry. This is a place of historical and continuing significance to the Northeastern tribes. For millennia, people have gathered to celebrate the fish runs and the abundance of Mother Earth, and to pass on cultural traditions and values, and to renew intertribal friendships. This is a regional festival linking towns, tribes, and inviting all people to hear the wisdom passed on by the culture bearers, and to enjoy the sounds of music, and to join in simple social dances, and to visit the booths of artists. Yes, so this group applies each year, and we have funded them year in, year out, and they do a really great job with the event. No, it's not right here, but it is, you know, their tribal lands, which are, you know, have been there for millennia. So I don't see it, that, you know, it certainly has benefit to Amherst and the community of Amherst. Is there anyone who would like to speak to it? It's also a very reasonable ask from them.
I
Uh,
grant too. Oh, Cody, you go ahead, please.
I would champion this enough if that's for draws people from England or that went to school here. So they spend some time in Amherst. So really great event.
And just to give a little context, we funded them at $500 in 2023, $700 last year, and I think they're requesting $700 this year, which again, a very reasonable ask. So I think we should absolutely try to do that.
Yep, agreed.
Any further comments? Oh, hold on a minute, folks. My dog has opened the door and let herself out. So
So Bill, what is are you doing like a spreadsheet or like?
Yeah,
doing it-
so I've taken the spreadsheet that Julianne put out and I just categorized each of the events in a very basic way. Dance, theater, multidisciplinary. I did break down music a little bit into classical, just world music, and then music general, where it was like maybe multiple different kinds of genres, and I think folk is in there as well. What I told Julianne was like, this is a starting point for me for my brain, so we can adjust this as we review it if we need to cut it in different ways. And I did not take a look at like venues. So if that's an
That would
issue,
be the
we can
next
add
thing,
that
yeah.
on.
That's great because it sounds like you've gotten the big categories down. And then if we feel like we want to add to that or like kind of like look at it in a different way, right?
Yeah, we
thank
can
you for doing that.
go in if we want to break it down by any other type. If we want to break the music down further, we can. If we want to add in different categories beyond just the genre of art, like if we want to note whether it's participatory or not, we can do all of that, and that probably wouldn't take too much time.
Are you using Excel or are you using like the Apple or whatever?
I'm using Excel just because I'm on a Windows computer. But if that's an issue, I can always move it into Google.
Oh, not at all. I just feel like Excel is really easy to work with. So
Yeah.
thank
Trust
you.
me,
Thank you
I'm
for
not
doing that. Thank
a
you.
champion by any means, but this is basic enough. I can do it.
Thanks so much for doing that.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Happy to.
you know what, folks, I think we've done really well. And, I think this is a fine kind of stopping point for tonight. I think we're pretty well in hand to come back on Wednesday and finish out these remaining grants that we haven't discussed yet. I count in the neighborhood of like, I think maybe 14 or so of them. And then there were a few that we needed to circle back to, not too many.
It feels like the next two are pretty easy though, Julianne.
Okay. Let's go. All right, we'll do it. Thank you for the nudge, Rachel. Rachel's fresh. She started a little later, although I'm sure she was doing something intense before. I think we can do the next three. Okay, so Tiani Thorne, The Rendezvous, April 27th at the Red Barn at Hampshire College, is requesting $500 out of the $4,665 budget. The Rendezvous is a Black, Indigenous, and People of Color BIPOC led project that serves members of Amherst and surrounding communities to help facilitate community connection through live performance, social dance, food, and visual art. The event prioritizes artist compensation as a means of cultural equity. A band of talented and emerging musicians will present the program of funk, soul, R&B, and music from the 70s and 80s. The music program has a diverse cultural and intergenerational appeal, whether nostalgic or heard for the first time. The shared experience of eating together, hearing live music, and participating in social dance and viewing artwork will help develop new community connections. And again, it's April 27th at the Red Barn at Hampshire College. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this one? Champion it.
I will champion it. Seems great. I think it's a small enough, very reasonable ask. Great diversity. I like that they're compensating the artists. Looks great.
I agree. Is there anyone who thinks of anything other than fully supporting it at the $500 ask? Okay. All right. The next two are from Roger Ticknell. They're both for children's songs and singing games, and one includes a family concert. Two are at the Woodbury Room, or I should say, the first is at the Woodbury Room at the Jones Library, and the second is at Amherst Head Start in June. And they're requesting 500 for the first and 400 for the second. This is something that comes up every year. We always ask this applicant to please put these both into one grant, because we only accept, one per person or organization. In the past, what we have done is we have funded the grant where they've asked for the larger amount, simply because we would provide more funding. This is something that currently we don't have a whole bunch of high school students here. I don't know if Cody, maybe you experienced Roger now when you were younger. I think this would have been more like elementary school, but our high school council members that were with us in prior years, went on and on about how fantastic these events are. So would everyone be in line with funding the full 500 for the first of the two events?
Yes.
Excellent. And because we still have a minute to go, I'm going to move to the next, which is the Town of Amherst Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is their Amherst Global Village Festival on April 5th. In Amherst, they're requesting $2,000 out of their $16,000 budget. The Amherst Global Village Festival is an event dedicated to celebrating the cultural diversity and promoting inclusivity within the community. It features a vibrant array of activities, including international food trucks offering cuisine from various cultures, live performances showcasing traditional music and dance, and local vendors representing diverse crafts and products. And they're going to foster a welcoming atmosphere and bring together individuals from all backgrounds and encourage dialogue and understanding while highlighting the rich tapestry of global fun. What was that, Cody?
Can you tell me what type of charge?
You're asking about the budget?
Oh shoot, I'm so sorry, I'm not on mute.
Oh, okay, I understand. We do need to wrap this up. But this is another person who came to the information session who's employed by the town, and I would like to attempt to fully fund this. If everyone needs more information on that, we could circle back to it, or
Could we please do that at the next meeting, just because in terms of what the money we're funding is going to go towards, because we're not supposed to pay for food or transportation, right?
yeah, that I've cleared that. As far as, again, this is a $16,000 budget, of which they're requesting $2,000 for an event happening in Amherst. But yes, we can circle back.
That sounds great, because certainly it's one of the events like the Nolan Beaker project proposal, where it's like we have very high profile, advertising and just kind of acknowledgement, which it's good for the council, it's good for everyone. So I think it's worth doing. But yeah. I think background information.
Yep. All right, everyone, you've been phenomenal. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope exams are going well for you, Eleanor, and for you, Cody. Hang in there. It's almost done. And I think we're in good shape that we are headed towards wrapping up Monday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Julianne, and everyone.
And there's a chance that Wednesday won't be terribly long either. I mean, I don't think we'll have to go the full 2 hours. Maybe.
Knock on wood.
I know, Cody. Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us, Doe.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do a proper introduction at the beginning of the next meeting you can join us for. But welcome. All right.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.